everybody. I'm so glad you're joining us this afternoon. My name is Dr. Hillary. I'm one of the founders of Cultivate Fertility, and I'm here with my partner in crime, Dr. Kara Burkhart. I'm not here. I'm in California. She's in Connecticut. We're both sheltering in place, so we're coming to you live together. But I just want to introduce you to Kara. She's at her office actually today to try to get some quiet for this webinar. She's a naturopathic doctor, fertility specialist, acupuncturist. She's amazing. She's the best business partner. We've been together working on Cultivate Fertility for a long time. We've been good friends for a long time, and she's an incredible resource. So that's Kara. She's going to say hi.
Hi, I'm going to introduce Hillary. So how do you start with introducing Hillary? So Hillary is a naturopathic doctor, and she specializes in pediatrics and family health care and women's health. And she's just a really great friend. I was trying to think of how to introduce 30 people. It'd be like, she's my closest friend. If you went around and asked people, like, who thinks Hillary's their best friend? Because she's warm and wonderful, and these things with her are a lot of fun. So she's run 2 or 3 detoxes. What do you think? 3, 2 lately?
For the shelter in place, 3.
3. Okay, so she's run 3 detoxes.
Start another one.
Yeah, because she needs to connect with people, and sheltering in place is not working for her. We recently had someone describe her as Spitfire. Let's see, she's a firecracker, a hot tamale. So that's Hillary. The hot tamale is my favorite. But today she's going to talk to us about happiness, because she is a really happy person. And I think that's part of the issue here with shelter in place and trying to get pregnant. And if you were set up for going for fertility treatments, and I've been talking to lots of women via telemedicine visits on this, it's kind of a hard time. So we are just going to talk to you about some things you can do. It's really good at happiness. So off to you, Hill.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so I moved to Japan a little while ago for about just a year with my family. I have 3 kids, and I got asked to do a talk in front of a big group of professional women in Japan, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I had just started to really think about happiness and how can I kind of help create or cultivate happiness for my kids with moving them around, and myself, because it was we had also moved to Spain. We lived in DC, so we moved a lot. So it was a really interesting conversation and topic. And I have studied psychology. I was a psych major and studied psychology for years. And the really fascinating thing that has started to happen is that there's been a lot of research on positive psychology. So not instead of like what's wrong with the person and how can we label them, but like what's going right with the person and how do we create happiness and get more happiness. So what's interesting, and I'm probably was born a little bit more like the glass is half empty, and I have to kind of work on being like that this is a great life and this feels really good. I'd say that both my mom and my dad, I'd say, are a little bit more glass half empty. So it's an interesting thing to understand what happiness is and what the research says. So there was a team, it's happening. Positive psychology is actually a thing. It's a major in a lot of universities. There's a lot of research happening at Harvard. This research comes out of University of California, Riverside, but that they were looking at like, well, what is happiness? What is the genetic component of happiness? And for our tie-in and wanting to talk about it a little bit here is that we know it's been so challenging for fertility during the shelter in place, layered and layered and layered on top of other difficulties. And so we just wanted to kind of talk about some strategies for happiness, because one thing we know for our patients and our fertility patients is we want to keep you at a very like high vibration, operating at the highest energetic, have the like strongest energetic force that you can have, whether you're going into IVF treatments or you're trying to just make a baby at home, or you're in the middle of being pregnant, wherever you are in your fertility journey, we want to really like raise your energy. And so Kara and I are going to talk to you about different strategies about that right now. Not like being falsely fake happy. That's not it. It's just about how can you like raise your vibration, reach for the best feeling thought, help kind of make this cellular humming so that when the pregnancy, when it's time to kind of move into either your fertility treatments or you feel ready to get going again, that your body's receptive to doing so. So back to the happiness research. I won't bore you with a lot of it, but what they found at University of Riverside was, and I'll get my kind of glass to show. So I think is this like 50% full. So the happiness research, they were doing a ton of twin studies. And they were looking at how much happiness are people born with, like how much is genetic. And they realized about 50% of just your baseline mood is genetic. So it's kind of like what you're born with, how you got it, and that's kind of your outlook in life, your optimism, how you experience happiness. 10%, so I'm going to do a little. 10%, it's not that much, is, I don't know what, something like that, is where we live and our job, our work. I mean, and that's incredible when you think it's only 10%, because a lot of times like this 10% is sort of like what we're working towards. Like, oh, if I could only get the right job, or, oh, living in this nice house, or, oh, moving to the right town, or all the stuff that we do as humans. That's 10%. And that leaves this 40%. Look at how much of a glass it is. This is what we do. 40% of our happiness is influenced by what we do. And like, that's the good news. That's a lot of variation that we can play with. And that's what Kara and I want to teach you some strategies about how you can raise your vibe, raise what you do here to get through this sheltering in place in the happiest way. So they found that the happiest people have some practices, and some of those practices are things that now you've heard a lot about. This research is what's helped to kind of influence some of meditation, mindfulness, because people who are mindful are happier. They found people who are connected to family and friends are the happiest. Well, that's hard right now. So we are encouraging a lot of Zoom calls with friends or any kind of connecting that you can do. People who feel like they have a good life purpose or they love their work, people who have a connection to community or a spiritual life. And then gratitude, so people who have a gratitude practice, these are all things. And what we know as naturopathic doctors is a big part of it are the foods that we eat and the way we kind of set up our biochemistry to work. So we're going to talk about that later. You can tell I'm in the kitchen. But I just want to invite you to create something, what I'm calling is like, as you can see, I'm just going to, it's on my fridge. And this is kind of my happiness, whatever, guide for me right now, for Dr. Hillary in shelter in place. Like Kara said, I'm a total extrovert. I'm used to working with patients a lot during the week. I'm used to seeing friends. I'm used to having dinner party. None of that's happening. And so I'm a little bit like, how can I make myself happy? So I just reminded myself the things that make me happy, the things that raise my energy vibration, the things that make me feel better, and then the things that make me less happy. So this is what I invite you to kind of create for yourself during the shelter in place. And mine's on my, what?
I feel like I should have that list. Music, dancing.
Okay, so this is what makes me happy. What makes me happy? And what makes a lot of people happy is music. Like I remember that, oh, if I turn music on in my house, like everybody gets happier. We kind of dance more. If there's tension or fighting, everybody gets a little happier. But for me, for sure, dancing, I mean, I'm a dancer. If you are going to hang out with us at Cultivate Fertility, you'll see some.
I was thinking actually of the thing that you're probably missing the most with shelter place is that you can't go see live music.
I know I can't see live music, and I love
That's like one of those things you miss the most, right? Yeah.
gratitude lists. So when I acknowledge what's really working well in my life, and I look around and I'm like, whoa, I get to make food here every day, and I'm actually present in the moment and grateful for it, my energy rises, my vibration rises. I'm just happier to be around when I'm grateful for the things that are really good in my life. For me, being in service. So I just did a big shelter in place cleanse for my practice. I offered all the moms, and there were 50 moms that I led through a cleanse, and that was part of service that I was giving to them, and it felt really good. Laughing, getting sun on my body, smiling all the way. These things also, these things that make you happy, that raise your frequency, that raise your vibration, these things are also antiviral. These things are helpful for your immune system. These things make your hormones happier and more regulated. Things that make me less happy. This is when I had to work on overeating or stress eating. That's why my list is on the refrigerator. There was like a meme that was like, you're not hungry, you're just bored. Kind of have
Yeah,
to remind myself. Or
that's true.
um, for me, going to the grocery store is not so fun for me anymore. It's a little jarring. So I'm letting my partner help me with that a little bit more, but reading news is not so fun for me right now. So these are the things I'm limiting, and these are the things I'm getting more and more and more and indulging with, so that I can be my best self and offer that. And
Yeah.
Kara's come up with some great strategies that she wants to talk about too.
So for that, it seems like a lot of the fertility clinics are starting back up. And so one of the things that a lot of our women were worried about is that their IUI is pushed off, their transfers are pushed off, all that kind of stuff. But it seems like they're getting in the schedule for May, end of May and June around where I live. So that's been kind of cool, but it gives them an extra month. So now I've had like 2 or 3 extra months with some people. And so these are some of the things that we're talking about doing, like definitely working on diet, the meditation practice, all these things that make you happier and healthier. But anyway, you're in the kitchen. The kitchen makes me very happy. I talk to Hillary every day because we work together. And I cook like I feel like these days because I have a family to feed. So cooking is one of the things that if you're not into cooking, I'm trying to get people to actually get into it, like find some interesting recipe and people love it. But another thing that makes me really happy are plants. And so looking at the research on plants. So I grabbed this actually from my kitchen just on the way here. So this plant isn't going to clean the air necessarily, and it's not necessarily medicinal, but it's making me happy because it's bright flowers. So I think plants are a really good thing to look at. And so it brings us to like nature and how getting out in the green is really good for people. So taking a walk every day, everybody seems to be doing it. Lots of new running practices or bike riding practices started for people. But getting outside in nature has been really important. And there's actually tons of research on that. So that's kind of cool. I think that the color green itself makes people happy. So you just don't think like, maybe I should paint a wall green. But there is actually psychological research behind the color green. So all these kind of things about how can you bring more plants into your world. Part of our detox talks about plants as far as air quality goes. That's really just like big leafy plants and ferns and palms in your house, like huge plants, but even little plants make people happier. And everybody's struggling with working in, at their dining room table and stuff when they're not set up for working at home necessarily. And putting plants there actually helps you with concentration and focus. So that's really cool. Why not add those in? And you can do lots of nurseries, at least around me, are doing curbside pickup. So getting plants in is really, really important. And so if we had to advise, like, what plants would you buy? Because everybody wants to know. Lavender. I think everybody should get some lavender plants in their house. It's going to reduce anxiety. The smell's so nice and it's so easy to grow. It's hard to kill that thing. As long as you don't overwater it or put it in super damp soil, it likes a good drainage. But a lavender plant might go a long way for you in these times of kind of some stress. Another thing on my list that I like for helping mood is cuddling. So Hillary just got a dog. I have dogs. They're good for cuddling with, but people are good to cuddle with too. And lots of good research on that reducing stress. So I've definitely talked to some people on these video calls that are like, have you too? Like some of the patients are fighting with their spouses and their kids and all this kind of stuff because we're all in close quarters, you know, so things are coming to a head. But maybe everybody should get a goofy, funny movie, sit down on the couch together, make some popcorn or whatever, and cuddle up. And that's going to make everybody feel a lot better because it releases the oxytocin. So I think those are some good things so simple and so nice to do, right?
I love talking about oxytocin because oxytocin is the love hormone, the feel-good hormone. And we know that the better we feel, the more that our hormones are in harmony. So a lot of our fertility patients are trying to get, they're really focused in on progesterone or trying to build a good lining or their egg quality. And we know just that the general rise in oxytocin, the general rise in our feel good. So I talk a lot about energy vibration when we just like expand ourselves, that everything gets better when we contract ourselves and get into the mentality of like, oh my God, this is tragic and terrible. I'm stuck. I'm worried about this. Which is totally justifiable right now. There's a lot of things that have changed in people's lives fast, really fast. And now I think what's happening is we're kind of coming out of the trauma a little bit, or like the initial, like, oh my God, and starting to kind of integrate, okay, what can we do to make ourselves feel better? So we would love it if you take away from this, like if you make a list. And on our website, cultivatefertility.com, there's a part where you can get a handout, a really beautiful handout that was made for us and about houseplants. And that's something that you can look at. And we love kind of talking about cleaning the space, cleaning the environment to also raise your vibration. So that's something that we really would love for you to do. And we're both big fans of detoxes. So we have a Cultivate Fertility 30-day detox that we are really excited about and proud of. And I just want to share some parts and some things from that, because one way that we can really make ourselves happy, or we can do while we're waiting for, if we're sort of sitting and waiting for a fertility treatment, is we want to really increase our antioxidant density. We want to increase our fertility superfoods, the Cultivate Fertility Superfoods. We feel really passionate about them. We want to just increase and harmonize our hormones. So we're getting the oxytocin from the happiness that's kind of raising our vibration, raising our core hormones. Like Kara said, exercising, being in plants, being around green, being in nature, cuddling, touching. And then there's a lot that we can do in the way that we're eating.
And this sort of pause we're in for the, sheltering in place, or most people are staying at home as much as they can, is such an opportunity here for our fertility people, right? Because now they can really focus on mindfully eating and cooking their food and doing the exercise and the practices. And it's like the lack of rush. So it's almost like a silver lining in here. And there's really bad things going on, but we can take the opportunity of the pause to sort of look at, what health practices am I not implementing and where can I do better? I certainly have a list of where I can do better. And
me too.
We all do. It's definitely.
That's why I have my list, so that I'm not a grumpy beast.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But it gives people like this break. It's been pretty awesome actually to hear a lot of people have started actually using those apps, like the Calm app or all this sort of mindfulness apps. They must have had a huge boost in the last 6 weeks. Right? Because people are actually using them daily now, where maybe they've had that subscription for a year and they're actually doing it. So I've been really impressed by that. So that's one thing that's really working out. And then the exercise piece, because now we found time, right? The biggest excuse on exercise is I don't have time, right? I mean, you hear that from me, certainly. And then now you can't really say that.
It's true. So we're kind of excited to take help people take advantage of their time and teach them about being in the kitchen. Kara and I have spent a lot of time in this kitchen getting ready for our programs for you. We're about to launch a diet course, and we're about to launch a detox course where we spend hours in this kitchen recording recipes we love, the way that we want you to build food plates, and the way that we want you to create things, the way we want your food to look, the way. And so I want to just kind of jump in, and Kara's gonna give food stuff,
I'll
staff.
interrupt here and there.
Interrupt, and I'm going to kind of show some things. I want to show you visually some of the foods at Cultivate Fertility that we love. And so I'm going to first start with this morning, the morning detox tea that we have as part of our, I'm putting the notes down, Cultivate.
A lot of people, have you found a lot of people just like to do this every day?
Anyone that, so many people who have been doing shelter in place detoxes with me this is what I get such positive feedback on.
It makes me feel good. It definitely does. It kind of gets the day started in a right way. I mean, I have my 11-year-old tell me how the first thing you're supposed to do is drink a big glass of water when you wake up in the morning. So I think this is coming, through the common culture. She probably learned that on TikTok or something.
It's awesome. Because it's like, that's the way that we we clear our bodies. We know that the less toxic burden that we have, the cleaner we feel. Again, we're trying to raise your energy vibration. So kind of like getting rid of any of the stickiness or the dark toxicity. Now, I'm a coffee drinker. I'm not but in my cleanse, when I do a cleanse or when I'm detoxing, I don't drink coffee. And this drink really helps to.
You're chopping ginger, right?
Not crave it. Yeah. So I'm going to do this. Sorry for it's hard to get the food.
It's right for good.
Yeah. Okay. So this is ginger. This is one of our superfoods at Cultivate Fertility, our detox superfoods. We use it all the time in our detoxes. And I'm going to even show you a smoothie with it in it as well. We love ginger because it helps to bring blood to your reproductive organs. And Kara, why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, ginger is a circulatory stimulant, and it kind of when you bite into it, right? It's like fiery in your mouth. Ginger is actually the same exact thing as turmeric. They're in the same plant family. They're cousins, right? So we all know about turmeric and curcumin and how that's anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer, and we all should be taking that every day, right? For our joints, for our skin health, for everything. It seems like GI health. So turmeric has gotten all the press, but ginger is almost as good and is really the preferred one for fertility, because ginger will promote blood flow to the reproductive organs. And we find that that's one of the big things that we see. And sometimes when you hold your hand over someone's abdomen, I do a lot of acupuncture, so I'm on people's abdomen sometimes, and they're cold. Like, some of these women have cold bellies. And so you just know that they're not getting proper circulation to their reproductive organs. But also stress will pull all that blood flow out to your legs and your arms, because that makes sense, right? If you're running from a bear, you want all the blood flow in your muscles to just start to run, right? And not helping your digestion or your reproductive organs. So decreasing stress is another strategy to get that blood flow there, but ginger will just start your day off right as far as just getting it right there. And then there's a few other ingredients in this tea too.
So, I'm going to interrupt. So then we're just teaching you to make a
decoction.
Decoction, which means that these hard herbs, because we use cinnamon. Cinnamon is one of our faves, go-to moves we love. It's one of our superfood, detox superfoods. It's incredible for fertility. It helps sugar management, manage blood sugar, regulate blood sugar. It's an anti-inflammatory. It does so many things. But so you just stick ginger and cinnamon, and This is filtered water. In come my kids. Or no, in comes another visitor, but filtered water, ginger, cinnamon.
Yes, those are hard parts of plants, right? So we can't just pour boiling water over them and expect all the medicine to come out of the plant parts. We actually need to boil it and simmer it for at least 10 minutes for the medicine to come out. So that's why this isn't just like pour the green parts over the tea leaves or the flowers. Is a decoction. So That's the first part of it. But you can make a big batch and keep it in the fridge, right? As long as you take the herbs out and just keep the tea part.
Yeah, so for our morning detox tea, our sunrise detox tea that we love, this is the first part that you do. You're just bringing it to a boil, and then we simmer, and then you're gonna squeeze a ton of lemon. It's another thing, so one of our potent fertility superfoods and detox superfoods. You're gonna squeeze lemon, and then I'll show you kind of at the end, but we use a little cayenne pepper to also help with circulation and vasodilation.
And also our cameraman likes the cayenne pepper up his nose.
You'll see in one of our videos we got. Does anyone?
Because it blew at him. Hey, Hill.
Yeah.
Have you ever had anyone use the cinnamon stick to?
I just want to
Oh.
introduce everyone to my dog, my new doggie, Lucy.
Hi, Lucy. Hi, Paige. Have you ever had anyone use the cinnamon stick as a straw?
No.
Really? It's like the automatic straw. After you decoct it, it can be really fun to drink out of it.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about kind of another thing that we do a lot at Cultivate Fertility in our detox or in our diet program is for you guys to make, we love for our patients to make smoothies, whether it's for a snack or it's in the morning. It really helps to regulate blood sugar. You can see, sorry, my children are here.
We're working moms. This is why I'm at my office.
So regulating blood sugar is one of the most important things we can do for your fertility, for your egg health, for your mood health, for your happiness. So we talk about it a lot. And so one of the ways—
Can I say something though on that? I think it's kind of lost in our culture that blood sugar spikes are not good for your egg quality. I don't know that everybody, that's in sort of common cultural understanding, but it turns out that your eggs you're born with, you've had them a very long time. When we first started doing this, right, Hill, everybody told us you can't do anything about the quality of your eggs. You're born with them and they're just aging every year, right? So it's sort of revolutionary to say we can change the quality of your eggs. And we see it over and over again when people go in for like in vitros and they harvest the eggs and then they do like diet change, nutrition change,
a detox.
all the stuff. They just fix their health and they work on it for a few months and then they go back and their egg quality is different. I mean, we see it. It's not just some pieces of literature out there. It's real. So I think that's a really big issue since, you know, we were brought up on the 11 carbs on the bottom of our food pyramid. That's not really how people should be eating, right?
Especially people who want—
not just fertility, it's many issues. So we have to cut out a lot of that simple carb and sugar and follow a more Mediterranean diet.
So I'm going to kind of walk you through while my tea, the base of my tea is decocting, which means now it's just going to simmer, and it's going to simmer for 10 to 15 minutes. So we'll come back to it. But Karen and I have been working on smoothies, and if you go to cultivatefertility.com, in the blog, we've got a smoothie we love. And
like maybe we have 1, 2, or 3, something up.
And a few videos on YouTube, if you just search Cultivate Fertility Smoothie. Anyway, we're really into great smoothies. So I'm going to just make one with you now using some of our fertility superfoods. So a superfood for us is—
Do you want me to read the list?
Our berries.
We have berries.
How about if you add to it? Okay, so I love berries because they're massive in bioflavonoids. They taste delicious, and they're helpful for circulation. They're loaded with antioxidants. So in this smoothie, you can use— you're also going to learn when you cook with me, where I try to use recipes, but also just use your intuition and have fun and play. But so this is going to be a handful of raspberries and a handful of blueberries, because that's what I had. But you can do what you have with berries. And then another really important thing about regulating your blood sugar and helping your eggs and your hormones is by having a good amount of fat and nutrient dense fats. So you're going to learn a lot about it from us if you do our courses, but what we're doing here is I'm going to add some chia seeds.
And this is something I think is really interesting too, like looking back on this over years. I think a lot of the comments and the positive feedback we get on the diet is that changing understanding of fats and what are good fats for you and not so good fats for you and how much fat you should really eat, right? I think that's the thing that people come back. Everybody knows you need to eat your vegetables and stuff like that, but I think people don't really understand fats, right? Because we grew up in an odd culture where cholesterol was bad for a long while. You know, definitely my grandparents thought that was really a bad thing. Don't eat eggs, all that. That was
Oh my
kind of
gosh, we grew up on a fat-free diet, straight up.
You did?
I was like this when I graduated from high school. We were all eating fat-free. Do you remember there was all this fat-free?
Yes, and they were just filled with sugar, right?
Yeah, and I had so little hair. I looked like this, like my high school graduation.
I'm sure that the high school cheerleader dancer looked like that.
Anyway, so what else went in this smoothie was hemp seeds, because this is another fat that we love to use. It's got fat in it, and it's got some.
We like the proteins in there too.
Calcium, iron, protein, magnesium. Magnesium's very hard to find. You'll hear us talk a lot about magnesium. That's in here. And then this.
And the hemp protein apparently is the one that has the really good branched chain amino acids for mood. So that's like a really interesting protein profile that you can't get in a lot of vegetarian foods. So the hemp hearts are really, really important, and they're yummy if you haven't had them, right?
Delicious.
Do you keep yours in the fridge, Hill?
I keep mine in the fridge. I keep all my fat, I keep my nuts and my seeds in the fridge. Mm-hmm. But that's just me. So, and then I'm going to keep, this is a vegan cashew yogurt that I love for probiotics. My children are hungry, so they're just walking around.
Anyway, you know what? That's good. Hi, guys.
I like your dog. And then we decided in this smoothie, we wanted to use tahini. So sometimes we use almond butter as a base. This is tahini. Tahini's ground up sesame seeds. Sesame seeds are high. There's calcium in there, but very high in iron. And
it's from hummus. It's the stuff from hummus, right? Or lemon tahini dressing.
Where else? Trying so hard to get your iron levels high and your micronutrients high from your diet. So, and I also put kale in there. I said that right, because we put greens and vegetables in most of our smoothies. But a couple spoons.
So between the greens, did you take that out of the freezer, the kale?
The kale I just had in the fridge. Oh. Actually, this one I haven't done anything frozen. I was going to put in 2 ice cubes, but you know, whatever. And then I'm adding cinnamon. Oh, it's smelling so good because of the cinnamon and the ginger. I'm adding just cinnamon to this because I like the way cinnamon tastes. And I find tahini and cinnamon go really well together. And I'm going to add a pinch of vanilla. So
Hillary's really anal about measuring everything out. But you're following the recipe, right?
I'm making it up as I go, but I'm just wanting to show. But we'll send a recipe. We'll send the recipe. Okay. And this is the Cultivate Fertility. We have a protein powder with greens that we love. It will soon be available on our website. But so I'm adding protein powder to this because that's what makes my day. So then you can use. I tend to use. We use oat milks, almond milks, cashew milk, and hemp milk. So I have cashew milk here, and I'm going to fill that up to make it. And then I add a little bit of water. This is just filtered water because I don't like it so milky. And I'm going to kind of show you that. Blending. Okay, this is I have a Vitamix that I love to use, but this little NutriBullet is so cheap. It's fairly reasonable compared to like a Vitamix. It works great with the vegetables. The vegetables get blended right up. So if you want to avoid getting all the seeds stuck, you start with putting the liquid in first. I didn't do that, but anyway.
All right, well, Hillary's blending this.
Sorry, it's really loud. It's not like the most gorgeous color that you're gonna eat, but anyway. Oh, take them. Kara.
I'm gonna fill in with the superfoods.
Yeah, great.
That maybe don't go in a smoothie, like garlic. Garlic doesn't really do a good I have never had a smoothie with garlic that's good, right? No.
I didn't have garlic put out today,
And avocado we use in smoothies a lot. That's in a lot of our recipes. Ooh, olives is definitely on the list. Shiitake mushrooms is on the list for the vitamin D, the B vitamins, and the immune kind of piece. So shiitake we love. Beans, all kinds of beans on the list for the fiber to help estrogen detox, etc. And greens are also on that list, mostly for the estrogen detox, but everybody knows that greens are unbelievable superfoods. We went through sort of the fats, and so I think that it's the greens and the brassica family plants that are the ones that sort of didn't get talked about enough. We try and get people to eat those every single day in some way. The brassica family is the broccoli family, cauliflower, kale, Romanesco, apparently one of my favorites. What else is in there? All the greens, cauliflower. That's a pretty color.
it's delicious. It's
See,
not.
this is sad. I wish I was drinking that.
I know
This is
you
not
can
good.
hear normally Kara's hearing me cheers and the whole thing. This is not a very sweet smoothie because there was no banana added or no. If we can make it optional to add a half a banana or date if people need some sweet instead. But this is kind of the way I like it.
So are kids gonna drink that? I want to know if it's actually good.
If the kids will drink it, this one.
That's the test.
Let's see. Let me see.
Hi.
No,
I like it colder.
she likes
Like
it
ice.
Colder. Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Frozen berries.
The flavor's good though.
Okay, so this has been. So what we do, you can see, is that this just got cooked down. You can even cook it for longer. This is making our morning sunrise tea. And what you do, oh, my glasses are missing.
See, everybody's home using up all the glasses all day, right?
Yeah, there's so many.
Out of dishwasher at my house is outrageous.
This kind of makes a pretty, cinnamonish color.
Oh yeah.
And then in the morning, we go for a full squeeze of lemon that helps to stimulate the liver, gets the gut really moving. People on my cleanses were on the shelter-in-place cleanse that we were doing this tea with were loving it in the morning. They felt like it really opened and brightened things up.
There's something hot, but it has the lemon in it too. It's really, lemon is an antidepressant. So essential oil of the plants are antidepressants.
It is. And then this is cayenne pepper powder. So if you're very sensitive to spice, you don't need it, but a pinch, a little, and I'm kind of aggressive with it, but a little pinch of cayenne pepper. And what it does is when you drink it, it just kind of vasodilates like crazy. So it opens up your blood vessels. It can't even like promote sweating a little bit, but it's getting your metabolism going in the morning. It's waking up your brain. It's getting,
and it's that circulation to the reproductive organs, so important, and that cayenne will do it. Cayenne actually, I think, has some good indications for dealing with weight issues people too. It just like increases burning of fat. So a lot of people use it in that way too.
It's definitely a metabolic stimulant, and it's just a mood enhancer. So what the people in the shelter-in-place detoxes that I've been running and what our fertility detox say when they drink it is that it just kind of makes them happy all day. So we are trying to get people off of caffeine during our fertility detox for sure. And so this has a really great substitute effect of that kind of lightning, but it's like putting gasoline in your tank. It's raising your core energy and your vibration so that it has a lasting effect.
People ask this all the time, like all the time. Can I just keep my coffee? Why do I have to go off my coffee on the detox? I mean, it has to be one of the top 10 questions right in the start of a detox, right?
Yeah, and I'm a coffee lover, so I'm not like some purist, but the thing that coffee does is it's in Chinese medicine, we write about it a lot in our detox, that it produces a lot of heat in the body. And what we're really trying to do is cool you down and hydrate your tissues and stimulate your digestive, your liver and your gut to help process things. So when you take the coffee off, plus it also is a stimulant for your adrenal glands and your nervous system. We're trying to take all those back a notch during our 30-day fertility detox so that you're in your calmest place, that we're getting you to rest and digest. We're trying to get you to detox some chemicals before the babies come, before you get pregnant. We're trying to smooth your nerves so that you have more likelihood to conceive. And coffee is just one of those things that when you take it off for a period of time, a lot of things come back into right balance. But I would never leave you and not replace because coffee does make people happy. It's a stimulant for mood, and it helps to kind of open and brighten. So this is an incredible replacement. And that's all. So because people who do these cleanses are like, wow, we're amazed that we
This
didn't
is even better. Yeah. Because you have the odor. I wish we could send smell through this thing, because the odor of that is so uplifting. It's so awesome. And people there's something about cinnamon. I think like even companies know this, that if bakeries put out the smell of cinnamon, people really like it. And there is, people are like, oh, it's like your grandma made it for you or something. So that the odor is really important with the lemon and the cinnamon and stuff.
It's
really a nice.
It's so uplifting. It's going to help raise your vibration in the morning. For me, it's more the afternoon when I really want it, like around 3 when I'm dragging and I'm trying to go through the day, and I find I'm like wanting to eat sugar. If I have something like this, it really helps me.
So back to the caffeine though, because I know a lot of people, when they want to do the detox, it's really to balance out their hormones is kind of like one of the main goals that people have. So I think that's another key there, is that the caffeine affects your liver detox pathways. Like you can like see it on the scientific sort of breakdown of the chemicals, right? And so by taking out the caffeine and working with the different foods and things, you might actually balance out your hormones and be able to get pregnant naturally if you're detoxing them in a better way. So there might be, and it's not everybody, but like there might be a few of the people that we work with that maybe that was the thing that helped them.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like we can't measure these things, but I suspect it, because you do see differences and people come in and kind of tell us this stuff. And so the whole idea, right, even with the detox, is just to teach people to live in the healthiest way they can. So we address like the mind-body therapy, the exercise, and the, what kind of diet should we be living? And we're hoping that people kind of get those habits and they last long term. And that's why it's a long one. It's like 30 days, right? And people are always like, why do I have to do this for 30 days? It's because we're hoping that these become lasting habits that actually help you in all these things, right? It's preventing early onset dementia and all kinds of terrible diseases you don't want. It's not just about balancing your hormones and fertility, right? So this is like what everybody should be doing as far as what we know about diet, right?
A 30-day pre-pregnancy detox before getting pregnant. I wish I would have known. I mean, we knew because we were in medical school, but
we didn't have it as well organized. We kind of were like
the time.
And you know what? When we were in medical school, Hill, we didn't know all this about diet. It was not known, and we didn't know a lot of stuff about fertility. Remember, like even the probiotics, like, oh, the baby's born sterile. That's not actually true now, but that's a newer concept. I mean, in the last, how long have we been practicing? It's been really long. It's been like 17 years, 18 years. We've been doing this. So I think that in that time period, we didn't even know back then.
Right.
Like we didn't even know about the chemicals in the environment when we had our pregnancies.
I used to take my BPA-laden plastic.
I used to yell at you about tea and that regularly in medical school.
Mm-hmm. What Kara and I are really excited about our 30-day pre-pregnancy detox. We've worked really hard on it. We believe so much in it. We've seen it work for so many of our patients, and just make people feel better. Like I said, to raise their core vibration. And we are launching basically for the first time through Cultivate Fertility, our detox that we've been working really for quite a while on. And it's really thorough. It's really all inclusive. We take you through 6 pillars: preventing toxins in the environment and in your home and house products, hydrating your tissues, nourishing with like incredible diet videos and how to make plates and protector. We created an incredible supplement to go along with our detox for 30 days that we're really excited and proud about. Another module is circulate. How can we get more circulation to your reproductive organs and flood your core tissue, reproductive tissues with blood, because it has such an extreme effect for our patients. And soothe, like how can we help calm your mind, raise your vibration, make you feel good. So this is what we do through our core detox. And Kara and I are really excited to get our introductory group going. And we hope that you're interested in joining us. Kara, what you get from us if you join our detox now is Kara and I are going to actually coach you personally. So we'll be online twice a week with you, answering questions during the month, really kind of creating community with you, for you, so that you're not alone. And we won't be able to offer this going forward in the future as we roll out more of our programs, but we're really excited to do it now. Leading cleanses is one of my favorite joys because people get better. People feel so much better. It has a major lasting effect. Food is medicine, and people feel so much better when they're on this kind of program for 30 days. So,
and it seems like it's the ideal time for it. Unfortunately, this is happening, but it gives people maybe some space to be able to take on, like, I'm going to work on this and take 30 days for myself to really organize my whole health. And that will make potentially a better situation for getting pregnant and carrying a pregnancy. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Patients who have been doing detox during shelter in place with me, they are so excited. They feel like they did something really positive, and they feel better, even though, they're at home. And so it's been a great thing. So does anybody have any questions out there if listening? Because you can chat. There's a chat that you can put your questions in. You can feel free. We don't want to take more of your time. We know time is so valuable and everyone's spending a lot of time on Zoom. But we urge you to go to cultivatefertility.com and kind of have a look around. In our blog section, you'll see some recipes that we love, and more to come on that, and more in the detox program if you sign up for our course. And you can sign up for our course now. Did you end up getting did you get a special rate going?
Yeah, the special rate goes out. I think it'll go out to people maybe tonight or tomorrow. I'm not sure.
Okay,
But
we'll send you an email, a follow-up email for joining us on the webinar. We're so excited you guys just dropped in. We know that there's a lot of offerings online, and so we're just so happy to be with you and teach you and grow this community and share in your fertility journeys. And we would love for you to be with us on our cleanse. We believe in it so much.
We are so psyched about it. In fact, it's been so many years to get to this point where we actually do it with people who aren't our patients. It's going to be kind of fun in a way. So thanks, Hill. Thanks for cooking.
Yeah.
Although I wish you
drinking my smoothie with me. Wait, we'll do it again soon.
Love you. Bye.